You think of certain brands, and they just feel untouchable, like they've been at the top forever and will be there forever. Nike is one of those brands. So what happens when a giant like that starts to stumble? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today, the story of Nike's massive, high-stakes comeback. For decades, Nike wasn't just a company. It was a cultural force. But, over the last few years, things started to go wrong. A few bad decisions, some really tough new competitors, and it just felt like they lost that innovative spark that made them Nike. Suddenly, the giant looked a little off balance. So now the company's making a big move. They've brought back a 32-year veteran, someone who knows the company inside and out, to try and fix things. And the big question for everyone is, can they do it? Is this new strategy enough to put the king back on the throne? That's what we're going to explore.
And honestly, the new CEO, Elliott Hill, he kind of said it all with this quote. He's not promising a quick fix overnight. He's basically telling Wall Street, telling us, look, this is a baseball game, not a sprint. We're in the middle innings. The outcome, still very much up in the air.
Okay, so first things first, how did Nike even get into this mess? To understand the comeback, you've got to understand what went wrong. And it all boils down to one big strategic mistake, trying to do everything themselves. The plan was called the Consumer Direct Offense. And on paper, it kind of made sense, right? Cut out the middleman like Foot Locker, sell directly to your fans online and in your own stores, and you control the whole experience while making more money. But this was a massive shift, and it had some huge, pretty disastrous unintended consequences. And man, the fallout was rough. By turning their back on their wholesale partners, Nike basically ticked off some of their biggest allies. This just blew the door wide open for competitors like Hoka and On to swoop in and grab all that valuable shelf space. Worse yet, to get rid of all the extra shoes they couldn't sell, Nike had to start discounting like crazy, which really cheapened their premium brand image. The bottom line here is the strategy just didn't work. All right, so that brings us to the new plan. With things looking shaky, the company brought back Elliott Hill, a guy who spent 32 years at Nike, to lead what they're calling the Win Now playbook. It's kind of poetic, right? The veteran returns to save the company he helped build. Hill's strategy is pretty straightforward, built on these 5 pillars. But look closely. Marketplace is right there near the top. That is a huge deal. It's a total reversal, a clear signal that they're going back to those wholesale partners. The focus is back on the basics, making amazing products, telling great stories, and, crucially, having strong relationships with retailers. And here's the proof that it's not just talk. Innovation is really back in a big way. We're not talking about just new colors for old shoes. No, we're talking about things like Nike Mind, a shoe that was more than 10 years in the making, or Project Amplify, a powered footwear system. This is Nike getting its swagger, its tech mojo back. So, the big question, is any of this actually working? Well, the first major test was their Q3 2026 earnings report. Let's dive in and see what the numbers are telling us about this comeback. And boom, here it is, an 11% jump in North American wholesale growth. This is it. This is the clearest sign you could ask for that mending fences with retailers like Foot Locker and Dick's Sporting Goods is paying off, big time. But it's not all good news. This comeback is pretty lopsided. While North America is looking good, the international picture is a whole different story. Europe, the Middle East, and Africa are down 7%, and Greater China down a pretty scary 10%. So yeah, the recovery is happening, but it's really a tale of 2 different worlds right now. There is, however, a massive bright spot in all of this. Running. The category grew over 20% for the 3rd quarter in a row. Now, why is this so important? Because running is the core category where brands like Hoka and On really came in and ate Nike's lunch. Winning here isn't just about money. It's about taking back their reputation for performance. So, okay, we're seeing some definite signs of life. But nobody should be popping the champagne just yet. This comeback trail is absolutely filled with huge obstacles. For one, the whole playing field has changed. On and Hoka aren't just little niche brands anymore. They are serious players with loyal fans. And let's not forget Adidas, who had a record quarter, while Nike was struggling. These guys aren't going away. They are all high-level threats. And on top of all that competition, you've got these massive external pressures. Just look at this number, a $1.5 billion hit from tariffs in just 1 year. That is a gigantic number.
It basically forces Nike into a terrible choice. Either eat that cost and kill your profits, or raise your prices and risk pushing customers away.
And those tariffs, that's just one piece of a very complicated, very stressful puzzle. This chart really shows you everything they're up against. You've got profits getting squeezed, sales falling in China and Europe, and oh yeah, a total crisis at their Converse brand, where revenue fell off a cliff, down 30% in the last quarter. They are fighting fires on so many different fronts at once.
So where does that leave us? What's the final verdict? Well, it brings us right back to what the CEO said. We really are in the middle innings. The comeback is happening, it's real, but the game is a long, long way from being over.
I think this scorecard sums it up perfectly. In the wins column, you've got that incredible wholesale rebound and amazing momentum in the running category, huge wins. But then you look at the losses column, weakness everywhere outside of North America, serious pressure on their profits, and just brutal competition. It really feels like for every step forward, a new challenge pops up. And so we circle right back to where we began. This quote just perfectly nails where Nike is right now. The early innings, the part where they were fumbling and making mistakes, that's over. The new game plan is in motion. But the hardest part of the game? That's still to come. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question, doesn't it? Nike is clearly winning some important battles here at home in North America. But with all these global problems and a competitive landscape that's tougher than ever, is winning at home enough to win the whole war? That's the billion-dollar question, and only time is going to give us the answer.